We are back live. Here on our world famous Jiggy Jaguar radio broadcast. We're still dealing with Mercury retrograde, of course. Why did Ross have to put that in my head? Get a hold of us online at jiggyjaguar.com. 50 plus AM FM stations across the country and around the world. iHeartRadio as well. And we are going to go to our next guest. She is going to join us here on the old Skip Skype, the old Skype-a-rooney. And we will chat with our next guest here in just a few seconds. She's going to join us here on the old Skip Skype here in just a few seconds. And we have got our great guest joining us today. She always has her makeup done, which I always think is fantastic. She has good lighting. She never calls us from a dark room. You know what the heck you're doing. I think that's great.
I know what I'm doing.
But before we get started, tell us a little bit about the GoFundMe and how people can go donate before we get into our topic today.
Great. Yes, please do go to GoFundMe. So it's titled Build Love, Improve Society.
Fantastic. So let's talk a little bit about our topic today, which is a very interesting topic. I seen this a couple weeks ago, and then I noticed you brought it up when we were having an email exchange, and I definitely wanted to get into it. This people giving up on love altogether due to bad experiences. Sharon Stone gave up on love fairly recently. What do you... I know that you did an episode on this on your YouTube channel. Take us through this whole thing.
I'm having a little hard time. The connection's a little bit funny.
It's Mercury retrograde. I apologize, my friend. People giving up on love. Talk to us about it.
So no, I heard most of that. It was just a little bit broken. But yeah, I did. So if you look on the Pursuing Compatibility YouTube channel, and we also just started a podcast with Transform You Media Network, where the CEO founder found me 2 sponsors before launching. So
wow.
Just so you know, it's pretty cool. But yeah, we did an episode talking about how Sharon Stone basically gave up on love. Her love is her dog, which I think is really sad. And it's I resonate. I really resonate and feel her pain. You know. So big inspiration of my company was facing the heartbreaking reality that being with a partner for 8 years was not the right fit. And when you face a heartbreaking reality like that, it really hurts, you know, especially when you're with someone for a really long time. And then after that, not me. I mean, it took me, I was still trying to date and things like that. Not me, but I've met a lot of people that they had a tragedy, you know, where they were engaged. I have a friend of mine where he was about to get married, and his girlfriend and fiance got killed in a car accident from a drunk driver.
Wow.
And he, I think, has not tried since. And it's been like, I think 5 years or, and then there's also, just a widow from something tragic, or a senior person. Just people just have a relationship or a long-term relationship, and they just give up completely because of a bad experience or some tragedy, and they think they can't find it again, which I think that's not fair to yourself. And it hurts the person that you could be with. And I think that stems a lot from loneliness. So the genie, I'm your genie, but within reason, but I'm also the genie for a reason.
Yes.
Which basically implies that I think that people should not give up on love. And that's why my job is so important, and I take it very seriously.
Now, what are some of the reasons why people do give up on love?
It's a poor connection right
now. It's Mercury retrograde. I apologize. What are some of the reasons why people give up on love?
I think people give up on love because of just a bad experience. Honestly, I think a lot of it's a bad experience, traumatic. I think a lot of it could be resources. So I'll take a perfect example. If you look at the Bachelorette, Claire Crawley,
Yeah.
um, and she's 39 and still hasn't found a long-term mate yet. I personally believe a lot of that has to do with resources, and people don't necessarily are providing the proper resource, which is why my job is so important. It's various sectors. It could be traumatic experiences, players. I think a lot has to do with lack of male role models, to be honest. I'm not trying to like bash them at all, but I have noticed in dating, when I go on online dating, a lot of guys are players. It's hard to believe, but some of us have beauty, brains, standards, a sense of humor. It's a wacky idea that's a phenomenal concept. But we do exist, and some of us are not out to get a hookup and not to get laid and not to get used and taken advantage of. Some of us have self-respect. And it's very insulting and very discouraging in our society when a woman such as myself is trying to find the right person and you just can't find it because the players are out there. Or there's also the cases where, because I have genuine good guy friends, and I've told my genuine good guy friends about my experiences, and they say to me, wow, Anna Marie, that guy sounds like a complete douchebag. And I'm like, yeah. But the interesting thing is, in the beginning, they were not a douchebag. They just made themselves look like a douchebag. So a lot of it, I think, is lack of proper male role models. I had a good guy ghost me, so I always argue that good guys actually do ghost because they just cannot handle their emotions,
Yeah.
or they freak out, right? And yet, what does that lead to? That makes you looking like a complete douchebag. So
Yes. Yes.
basically, you look like a complete a-hole and a douchebag. And so if you want to look like a good man, just be man enough and have the guts and the balls enough to express yourself.
That's awesome. That's fantastic.
So,
Well, I'll tell you, I'm really looking forward to covering these topics and getting a lot of your advice and the way that you look at things. Before we let you go for today, how do we contribute to your GoFundMe and find all your stuff and get involved with what you're doing, my friend?
yes, please do. So my GoFundMe is Build Love Improve Society. So if you go up on there, you'll see all my information. But yeah, you can find me there. You can find me on YouTube at Pursuing Compatibility. I'm the only one that's named that. You can find me on Instagram, Pursuing Compatibility. You can find me on Facebook, Pursuing Compatibility. You can find me on podcast. Will be on Apple and Spotify, I believe, soon, if not now, because I just got networked and two sponsors. Try to think if I'm missing anything. Oh, and www.pursuingcompatibilityshop.com. We sell inspiring products to help people feel inspired, that they don't have to be the only ones going through loneliness. So a lot of my company focuses on the loneliness statistics. So are we aware that nearly 50% of the adult population over the age of 18 is lonely? And with the pandemic, I believe that it's gotten worse. And personally, I believe that as a CEO and founder of Pursuing Compatibility, that loneliness is a national emergency, and that nobody really knows what to do. But you know what? Guess what? The genie knows what to do. I actually know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. It's called creativity is the solution. I think
Fantastic.
loneliness has lots of dynamics. It's more than just romance.
Yeah.
It's a lot more than romance. There's so many variables to loneliness, and it's not just, oh, I'll just be around a person and make them feel not lonely. No, there's lots more to loneliness. Just because you're with people doesn't mean you're not lonely. So that's a big misconception. So loneliness is huge for us. We focus on easing heartbreak. If you lost a loved one during this pandemic, we help with those. So if you go to our online shop, pursuingcompatibilityshop.com, we have products such as unification is the solution, division never worked, a symbolic t-shirt. We have
That's
a shirt
awesome.
that's called what would a happy America look like? The
Yeah.
philosophical question that we all wonder, right? And we have some pet humor on there because I do have a sense of humor.
That's
I
awesome.
like to joke around a lot, even though I take my job very seriously. Yeah, and we also focus on the divorce rate. Our divorce rate in America in 2019 was 2.9. per 1,000 people. So
Wow.
we're trying to focus on reducing the divorce rate. We think a lot of it's about naive choices. We are a little bit dating a little bit extreme naivety, and I always argue that it's okay to make a mess. To tell people to avoid making mistakes makes no sense because they're going to be horny and lonely anyways. So to be honest with you, so like people are just going to go with their loneliness and their hormones. But my point is, okay, of course you're going to have those moments because we've all done it and I've done it. I'm
Yes.
personally over it because I'm over that. But I've done those mistakes plenty. And it's funny because you don't even realize that you're doing it until after you do it. So, but good guys do it plenty because I've had good guys do it to me.
Well, we've got to go. My next guest is calling, but I appreciate you being with us, and we look forward to chatting with you next week. Thank you, Anne Marie.
Oh, great. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it, my friend. There she goes, Anna Marie, and we are going to take a time out. When we come back,